Hey everyone, Miss Fisher here, and today we're going to be finishing Horrible Harry and the Holidaze by Susie Klein. Let's get started. This chapter is called Crash. Wednesday, Miss Mackle passed out permission slips that we had to take home and get signed by our parents. Yahoo! A field trip in December? Dexter sang out. Then he drummed his fingers on a pretend guitar. Zuzu read every word on the permission slip. "We're going to Shady Pines?" he asked. "Where is that?" "Harry," Miss Mackle said, "would you like to explain the activity?" "Sure," Harry said. "We're going to visit my great-grandpa, Sam Spooger. Harry paused for a moment. "Moved to Shady Pines. That's a nursing home 4 blocks from our school." Miss Mackle walked over and put her hand on Harry's shoulder. "Harry and I thought a trip to Shady Pines would be a great idea. We could visit the elderly people who live there and share some of our holiday activities." So that's what put Harry in a daze. His great grandfather wasn't living with him anymore. I knew he and Harry were buddies. He told him about gremlins and World War II fighter planes. He was a hero during the war and saved lives. I knew he and Harry played poker a lot at home. We could share our favorite stories and poems. That's what we do at our house for Kwanzaa, Ida replied. "I'll ask Mom if we can play the Dredgel game," Mary suggested. "We always play that at Hanukkah." "I could bring my Elvis Christmas Together CD, and we could sing Here Comes Santa Claus," Dexter added. "Wonderful," Miss Mackle exclaimed. "Get your permission slip signed and bring it back this week. We're going on Monday." The next morning, we were all shivering in the playground waiting for the school bell to ring. It was sleeting again and really cold. Suddenly, a car skidded across the road and jumped over a curb and crashed into the tall fern tree in front of Southeast School. Bam! Everyone screamed. Seconds later, Mr. Cardini, the school principal, came running out of the building and ordered everyone inside. As we passed by the fence, we could see the old fern tree was slumped over. I was really thankful the driver got out of the car okay. He looked fine. His car didn't, though. It had a smashed front fender. Mrs. Funderburk, the cafeteria lady, rushed outside. "I called 911, she yelled. "Come downstairs for coffee and cookies and get warm." "I'm glad everyone's safe," Miss Mackle said as we rushed into room 3B. "What a cool smash-up," Sid said. "Bam, wham, crash!" "That's a terrible thing to say, Sydney," Zuzu snapped. "It sure is," Mary agreed. I had a feeling she and Zuzu were going to be great friends. Harry was pressing his nose against the window. Since we were on the second floor, we could see everything, even the skid marks across the road. Songli reached for a Kleenex. "Our big old tree doesn't stand tall anymore," she said sadly. "It slumps." Miss Mackle was the only one who had something nice to say. "It does slump, but there's still something to appreciate about that old tree." Songli nodded. Harry didn't look sad. He just thought, "That's like my great-grandpa. He can't stand tall either. He has to use a wheelchair now." "Yes," the teacher agreed. "And there's still a lot to appreciate about your great-grandpa, huh?" "Yeah," Harry agreed. "There sure is." Miss Mackle put her hand over her heart as she stared at Harry. Hanukkah fun at Shady Pines. Monday morning, we all walked 4 blocks up the hill to Shady Pines. Harry and I were partners. It was fun to wear our boots and crunch in the snow. "It looks like a haunted house," Sid said. When Harry held up a fist and muttered, "Knock it off," Sid the squid, I smiled. He was starting to be his old self again. When we walked into the nursing home, it seemed like we were in someone's living room. There were couches and chairs, and a vase of flowers on the coffee table. A lady at the desk greeted us. "Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to Shady Pines. I'm Mrs. Pepper, the administrator." "Look! They've got a Christmas tree!" Ida exclaimed. Harry pointed to the dry board next to it. There were lots of words written in different colors. "See the schedule for December? It tells about all the things going on at Shady Pines. Grandpa likes the music programs the best because he gets lots of refreshments. He still loves to eat." Mrs. Pepper laughed. "Please follow me to the activity room." When we got there, it was full of elderly people sitting in wheelchairs. "Hi, Grandpa," Harry called as he rushed over to him. Harry kneeled down by his wheelchair and gave him a big hug. "This is my grandpa," he said proudly. Hi," Harry's grandpa said. "He stutters now after his stroke," Harry said matter-of-factly. "This is his roommate Elmer. He wears a bike helmet because he gets seizures sometimes and has to protect his head when he falls." Mrs. Pepper beamed. "Harry has gotten to know our clients very well in the past 2 weeks. He's a regular visitor." Mary's mom, Mrs. Berg, patted Harry on the back. She was one of our chaperones. "Take off your hats and coats, boys and girls," Mrs. Pepper said, "and help yourself to some cocoa and cookies at the refreshment table." "Thank you," we said. I took a sugar cookie with rainbow sprinkles. A lot of the older people spilled cocoa when they drank, but it didn't matter because they were wearing long white bibs. While people were snacking, Mary's mother announced, "We would like to do an activity with you that we do during Hanukkah. That's a Jewish holiday that we usually celebrate in December." "I know about Hanukkah," a lady said. She was wearing a blonde wig that didn't sit on her head quite right. "I'm Jewish. It's when we celebrate the miracle of the oil lasting 8 days in the temple." "I'm Jewish too," said a man wearing a blue bow tie. "But my favorite part of Hanukkah is eating the fried foods like potato pancakes to remind us of the oil miracle." "Yes," Mrs. Berg replied, "the latkes." Mmm. "Our activity is playing the dreidel game. There are 4 sides to a dreidel," she explained as she handed some to Mary, Ida, and Song Lee to pass out. "Each side has a different Hebrew letter. Together, they stand for a great miracle happened there. I'll draw them on this dry board. Shin, He, Gimel, Nun." "We learned a song that explains the rules. Ready, boys and girls, to sing?" Mrs. Berg asked. All of us stopped eating and sang, "Oh, dreidel, 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 it made it out of clay. And when my dreidel's ready, oh, dreidel, I will play. I take my little dreidel and give it a good strong spin. I hope it lands on Gimel, for then I'm sure to win. If I spin hay, I take half, but if I spin none, I get the pot with Gimel. With Shin, I must pay one." Few of the elderly could clap for us, but I could tell in their shiny eyes they enjoyed it. Mary gave us each 4 gold-wrapped chocolate coins from her basket. "This is gelt," she said. "What you put in the pot when you play dreidel." That's like poker," Harry's grandpa said. "Yes," Mary replied. Harry beamed. "We know how to play that, huh, Grandpa?" "We sure do." Mrs. Berg held up a hand. "Okay." The students will partner up with the people here at Shady Pines. They've been practicing in class so they know how to play. There's just one more rule. Share your chocolate winnings. Harry and I played with his grandpa and Elmer at the end of a table end of one long table. We each put one piece of gelt in the pot. I spun the dreidel first. "Nun," I groaned. Elmer adjusted his bike helmet, then spun next. He also got noon also. Harry spun the top for his grandpa. "Shin," he said. "You have to put one in." Harry put a candy in the pot for his grandpa and then took a turn. He spun the dreidel real hard. "Gamel! Yahoo! I take all the candies." "Shh," his grandpa said. "Yeah, I know, Grandpa," Harry replied. "I have to share the chocolate winnings." After we unwrapped the chocolate and popped some in our mouth, Harry flashed a toothy smile at me and his grandpa. It didn't gross me out that his teeth had chocolate on them. It was great to see my buddy smiling again. After we read stories and poems to the elderly, we danced and sang Elvis Christmas music. "Here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane." When it was time to leave Shady Pines, we all said goodbye to our dreidel partners. Harry gave his grandpa a big hug, then he slapped him 5. On our way downhill back to school, I heard Cindy say, "That was no haunted house, man. That was a fun house." And now I'm going to show you a dreidel. This is what they were using in the game that they were playing with the elderly people. And what you do is you spin it and it spins, and then it lands on a symbol. Flying high for Korean New Year's. Tuesday morning, when we all walked into class, we noticed Song Lee's mom, Mrs. Park, hanging up Korean clothes in front of the blackboard. She also placed a kite and a game board on the chalk tray. After the bell rang, Miss Mackle beamed. Today, Mrs. Park is here to help us learn about the Korean New Year's. Song Lee, do you want to help her? Song Lee hurried up to the front of the room and hid behind her mother. We didn't see her much, just her shoes and left ear. Mrs. Park didn't force Song Lee to talk. Mrs. Mackle didn't either. Mrs. Park did most of the talking. I bring a board game called Yoot. Family play it on Korean New Year. It is holiday gift from us to you. We clapped and cheered as she held up 4 wooden sticks and a board. Each stick has 4 sides, 3 curve, 1 flat. You toss stick in air and hope it land on flat side. When stick land on flat side, you move token on board. Dibs on playing with Song Lee, Harry said, jumping out of his seat. Mrs. Mackle motioned for Harry to sit down. Later, Harry, let's find out more about Korean New Year. Well, Mrs. Park said, reaching for the outfit on the hanger, children get dressed up in hanbok. We all stared at the rainbow-colored suit made out of silk with a short jacket. I put on Song Lee now. You could hear a pin drop as we watched Song Lee step into the beautiful costume. Harry was half off his desk. On Korean New Year, we honor ancestor. Children visit old family and bow to show respect. Mrs. Park said, Girl, bow on one knee. Song Lee, please show class. We watched Song Lee step in front of her mother, bow and kneel on one knee. Boy, bow on both knees, Mrs. Park explained. Harry and I immediately tried to bow to each other on both knees. Mary and Ida bowed to each other on one knee. After children bow, old relative give gift. The next time I visit Grandpa, I'm bowing to him, Harry said. Mrs. Mackle put a hand over her heart. We also fly kite on New Year, Mrs. Park continued. I bring one. We all looked at the white kite Song Lee's mother unfolded. It had a hole right in the middle and streaks of red, blue, and green on it. It is shield kite, she said. Song Lee peeked at us through the hole. We saw her eyeball. We all laughed. At activity time, we took turns playing Yoot and eating rice cakes that Mrs. Park had steamed in beef broth. Then, Mrs. Mackle said we could take Song Lee's shield kite out to the playground. Boy, were we all flying high that sunny, windy day. Secret Santas. The last week of school in December, we did activities about Christmas. I didn't know lots of Lebanese people celebrate Christmas, but they do. Zuzu's mother brought in bouche de Noël. It was a Christmas log cake. The chocolate icing was like the bark of the tree, and the powdered sugar was the snow. It was delicious. We also made rice out of pine cones and decorated a class tree and made up our own lyrics to songs like Jingle Bells. Holidays, holidays, there for me and you. Christmas, Kwanzaa, King's Day, and Hanukkah too. But my favorite Christmas activity was the last one we did, Secret Santas. Miss Mackle brought out her glass jar that always sits on her desk. It had pieces of folded paper inside. Each paper had one class name written on it. I want you to pick a name from this jar so you can be the Secret Santa for that person, she said. Instead of buying a gift, though, the teacher continued, I want you to choose a white elephant from your house, wrap it up, and give it to that person. Zuzu was the first to ask, What's a white elephant, Miss Mackle? Anything used that is still good, the teacher explained, like a puzzle with all the pieces or a toy that isn't broken, but maybe you just don't play with it anymore. A book you've read that you're willing to part with. White elephants are things like that. I get it, Sid exclaimed. I think I'll give my family white elephants this year, too. I've got lots of them in my room. Miss Mackle laughed. The price is right. I know what I can do, Harry blurted out. Mary made a face. It'll be something horrible. I know. Harry cackled. Zuzu raised his eyebrows. Harry gives horrible gifts? Everyone nodded. Okay, boys and girls, let's begin, the teacher announced. Sydney went up and picked a name. First. We all know who it was. He looked right at Mary. Darn, he said. I wanted Zuzu's name. I have something made in France at home. His Lebanese Christmas cake was French. He even knows some French like me. Zuzu blushed. I think he liked the attention, though. Remember what I said, Miss Mackle said, holding up one finger. It's a secret. At recess, Harry and I raced over to the dumpster and told each other who we had. I have Dexter, Harry said. I have Song Lee, I said. Want to trade names? Harry whispered. I have a white elephant that only Song Lee will appreciate. Can we? I whispered back. Why not? Harry said. Nobody needs to know. We'll keep it a secret. Harry and I did a pinky finger shake, which meant we would not tell a soul, not even his grandpa. Okay, I said firmly. Our secret Santas are a sealed secret now. The day before vacation, everyone brought wrapped gifts to class. We were pretty excited to find out who our secret Santas were. Miss Mackle wore a red dress with a holly corsage from Zuzu and a headpiece that had reindeer antlers from Harry. She had a red and green striped candy canes for everyone. And while we licked our peppermint treats, we watched each other open up the secret Santa gifts one by one. Zuzu, Miss Mackle said, drawing his name from the jar. Here's your secret Santa present. He unwrapped the Christmas paper carefully, folded it, and even saved the ribbon. When he opened the card, it said, For Zuzu and Juju. I'm glad you're in our class. Happy holidays. Song Lee. Song Lee's face turned red. Zuzu unwrapped the gift. Oh, Juju will love these. Thank you, Song Lee. We all stared at the white elephant gift. It was a stack of 3 colored pet bowls. Mary's turn was next. I know this is from Sydney, she groaned, but as soon as she unwrapped the white elephant, her face lit up. I love it! We all leaned forward to see what it came out of the tissue paper. It was the doll Sydney had found in his 3 Kings cake. I thought I should share the good luck, Sydney said. Like that Christmas song you say? Goodwill towards men? Zuzu smiled. That's really nice gift, Sydney, he said. Mary jumped up and down. Thank you, thank you. When I opened my Santa gift from Ida, I found a real kufu. The hat was made out of fabric, not poster paper. Wow. I put it on my head right away. It belonged to my uncle, Ida said. He said I could give it to you. Thanks, Ida, I replied, adjusting my kufu. It felt kind of cool. Everyone had to wait until the last secret Santa present was opened to find out what Harry gave Song Lee. I noticed Zuzu was leaning forward to watch her unwrap the gift. He was really curious what kind of horrible gifts Harry gave. When she lifted the surprise out of the box, she held up a jar filled with green stuff. The hand-printed label said, Merry Christmas, Song Lee. I hope you like this holiday slime. I sure like you, Harry. Soon as she opened the lid, a terrible odor filled the room. It smells, Dexter said. It stinks, Sid said. It's holiday slime, Harry said, and he flashed his white teeth. It's putrid. That's what Grandma says. I love that word. It's a horrible gift, Mary groaned. Ew! Everyone groaned as Song Lee poured a little into the palm of her hand. It landed like a solid puddle. When she put some between her fingers and rubbed it, the slime turned to powder. Thank you, Harry, Song Lee said. I remember you made green slime in class last year with cornstarch and water. Yep, but this is a special batch I made last summer. Mom lets me keep it in one of her leftover bell jars in the basement. All I had to do was add a little more water. No wonder it smells so bad, Mary gasped. It's been fermenting for 5 months. Zuzu cringed. Your holiday slime is horrible, Harry. Well, Miss Mackle chuckled, it is a festive green for Christmas. Song Lee didn't moan or groan like everyone else. She giggled. I like it, Harry. It's stinky fun. I knew you'd be the only one who would appreciate it, Harry said. I just smiled. Harry was back and as horrible as ever. The end. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed that book. It was super sweet and cute, and it taught us about different holidays that are celebrated around this time of year. All right, everyone, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.